How's my hair?
Good.
It doesn't look like I stayed up all night to watch a race. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. You don't sound ready.
I'm ready.
You don't sound ready.
I'm ready.
Three, two, one.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Basically an F1 podcast with your host,
Dan Mendez.
and your co-host, Chris Valerio.
It's weird that you introduced. You could have just kept going. Keep going.
Okay, and we just finished watching the Australian Grand Prix for Danny for the second time and me for the 1.5 time. 1.5.
Yeah.
But yeah. What a race, you know. 1 a.m. starting time.
Yep.
For
us
Americans.
For us Americans on the East Coast,
Yeah.
started promptly at 1 in the morning.
Yep.
Luckily, there's not a whole lot of races like that. For us, a lot of Americans like to complain about the early mornings, like the 9 a.m.
Yeah, but
10
in
a.m.
Europe, it's kind of like different. Like Europe usually does start like at a weird time.
No, it starts like in the middle of the day usually for them. That's usually like where they aim is to start around.
For Europe?
Yeah. So for us,
So
like,
I guess Australians would be a weird time, no? Because that would be
hell yeah.
Yeah.
They've always been watching races like at weird times.
Yeah.
So hey, it's the most we can do. They've let us go into their country and race cars. So
exactly.
But yeah, it's the first time I've experienced that, staying up late for both qualifying, and the race.
The Grand Prix. Yep.
Yep. Luckily, we won't have to do that again until the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But yeah, that's the whole talking point this week is the time zone difference because it's so radically different.
It's 12 hours.
Yep, for us.
Yeah.
I know. I remember I saw people like in Europe like, 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. or whatever it is. I'm like,
no, that's nothing, bro.
That's what we usually do. That's what we usually do.
Yeah.
But besides the time zone difference, I would say that this is the first real round of the season.
Yeah.
Nothing against Bahrain. A lot of things against Saudi Arabia, but nothing against Saudi Arabia in terms of like being a legitimate round. Obviously, they raced, points were awarded. But this feels like the start of the season.
Yeah.
Well, at least it did until the race, and Carlos Sainz spun out on lap 2.
Lap 2. Yeah.
So
boom, Ferrari out, just like that.
Our energy's all off.
Yeah, but it's okay.
Keep going.
But yeah, Carlos Sainz off in the second lap.
Yeah. Well, he had bad luck in qualifying.
Yeah.
He crossed the line just after the red flag came out.
Yeah.
Personally, I feel like there should be just a grace period when that happens, because like the red flag happened on a completely different part of the track than Carlos Sainz was on. His lap didn't do anything that put anyone in danger. I think it should have stand. I think there should be a grace period. I don't think it should be like, oh, red flag. I think like, I don't know, they should give like a solid like, if you're in the completely opposite sector side of the track,
right, they should be like, oh well, you're
it counts.
Yeah,
it should be a grace period. Like I get it, his lap technically for like a little bit was under a red flag, but like
if it's right next to the checkered or the like the line, and there's a crash right there and you just go past it, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a red flag, obviously that's gonna
affect a yellow flag.
Yeah. But it wasn't. It was on a completely different side of the track, and that's kind of...
Yep. So, obviously, it wouldn't have been a big deal if he was able to get out again and do another lap like that, but he was not, and he qualified ninth?
I think so.
Very poorly. Qualified very poorly for that car. just wasn't able to get that lap again.
Yeah.
Which happens all the time in Formula One.
Yeah.
Yeah, just bad luck with him. And then in the race, just failed to get his tires turned on.
Yep.
And just literally skated off the track. Like, I don't know what else to call it.
Yeah.
Just skated off.
Hit the grass and then just started sliding.
Yep. Was very lucky to not come back on at the wrong time and hit Zhou.
Yeah.
Or I think
There was a couple cars that you almost hit.
Yeah.
It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah, so I mean that was best case scenario for as far as retirements go.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you know the car's not damaged, so that's a positive.
Right.
Speaking of damaging cars, Aston Martin this weekend had a terrible weekend, and I'm gonna say it. Aston Martin is the new Williams.
Yeah.
And that's, hey, Williams, love you guys, but you've got sort of have a nameplate now, of like pointless seasons. I guess Haas does too.
Yeah.
But
Haas kind of came back.
Haas last season we can't really even talk about.
Yeah.
They didn't try.
Right.
But Williams were.
Yeah.
Williams were trying. And so I think that in a lot of ways Aston Martin and Williams have swapped places, at least for this round. Sebastian Vettel back in the car after COVID. And just wasn't able to get laps. Like I think had like 20-something laps all weekend.
Yeah.
The FP1 car decided to blow up. The engine decided to pop on him. He got out for FP3 or something. I don't know. I didn't watch free practice. It was in the middle of the night, so I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. But in qualifying, again, in FP3 he crashed, if I'm correct, right?
Okay.
Yes.
I didn't watch FP3.
He did crash. I think it was in FP3. And FP3 is in the same day as qualifying, so that was gonna be a mad dash to get that car fixed.
But then they did, though, right?
They did.
They did.
Because Lance Stroll decided to just completely annihilate Nicholas Latifi in qualifying in Q1, and brought out a red flag, and that was able. They were able to fix the car.
Yep.
I think the car was fixed, but they didn't fix it on time to have Sebastian go out.
Hey, you never know. Conspiracy theory. Could be done on purpose.
I don't think so.
No.
Stroll just straight up was not looking at. There's someone out there that believes that.
Yeah, probably.
No, but I think Stroll was just not looking where he was going.
Mm.
Like he's done so many times.
Like those bottom people do.
Well, here's the thing about Lance Stroll. I think he's pretty decent. I don't think he's Nikita Mazepin. I think he's maybe a little bit better than Nicholas Latifi. But then
he's
again,
not the greatest. He's not no George Russell.
Then again, he's always been sort of in a better car than those two. So that could be a big factor in it.
Mm.
I definitely hold him at a little bit higher regard than Mazepin, someone like Mazepin. But I don't know. Look, he could be a great driver, okay, and that could have been just an easy mistake to make.
Right.
But the fact that he's at that team and his dad owns it, it takes all of the legitimacy out of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you have to question, if Lawrence Stroll wasn't in Formula One the way he is and has that team, would Lance Stroll have a seat? I don't think so.
Probably not.
I personally don't think so. And it's the same thing with if Latifi didn't have such a big, contribution going to Williams,
I don't think he'd be on the team.
And here's the thing. We might not see him next season. There's legitimate talk about, does Williams actually need that money?
Is it costing them more to keep him on the
team,
even though he is giving them money?
The Australian Grand Prix saw both Canadians run into each other. I blame Lance Stroll 100% for that. I think it was a little weird. No one's talking about this, but he came out of the pits and almost like came really close to Latifi for like no reason. Latifi was like on the left hand, just like straight up letting him go, and Lance just came and like really close, and then just like slowed down, and then Latifi's like, all right, and decided to pass. I think it's a little weird that Latifi decided to pass, but it's qualifying. Like, either get on with it or let people go around you, you know? So, yeah, an expensive crash for Williams. And Aston Martin mechanics definitely putting in overtime this weekend. Shout out to them for getting both cars out for qualifying and for the race. That's not easy. At the end of the day, Sebastian was able to get out, but didn't get out of Q1. Not surprised there. Not because of Sebastian. Sebastian's actually I hold Sebastian in high regard, but I'm gonna finish so you can talk. Sorry. He just doesn't have enough experience in that car yet because of everything that's happened. So
yeah, him getting COVID and everything kind of restricts him a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean that's straight. I mean if you look at Daniel Ricciardo,
he missed the first 2 races. You know, you can't really.
Daniel Ricciardo was in the same situation, not that long ago. So, for the same reasons.
Exactly, and you saw Daniel Ricciardo come back.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we see Sebastian Vettel come back like he did.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Ricciardo's not 4-time world champion.
Right.
You have to sort of see like Seb probably has better things to do than to be at a team that's not like the only team that hasn't scored points. By the way, it's round 3. I think the new rigs are doing their job if all the teams are scoring points, except for Aston Martin. So
I mean, they didn't have Sebastian for a while.
Yeah, they had Nico Hülkenberg.
I think they could have scored at least a few points if they did have.
Yeah,
Sebastian
it's not like they had.
first
It's not like they didn't have 2 cars on the track.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know. They definitely got out to a bumpy start. That's a porpoising joke, by the way. Bumpy start.
You know, it comes not funny when you have to explain it.
Ferrari porpoising issues.
Oh, that's horrible.
I honestly think
really bad.
that's honestly what played a lot in this, Sainz's problem. But Leclerc had the same issue, if not worse. I don't know. He's like, I don't know. I'm gonna still win this race.
Yeah.
He ran away with it this weekend. I mean, I was looking at it. I was getting like almost Max Verstappen at the Red Bull ring vibes, like straight up just like left, and then it was like, all right, who's gonna get second?
Yeah.
You know, and I was at the end not hoping, but waiting for another safety car. He almost got it with Max Verstappen, retiring out of the race with we don't know what, some sort of
engine problem.
Yeah.
I saw some smoke. That's all I know.
Yeah, but they were saying that was probably because he just stopped the car, and there's a lot of heat soak. Yeah. So when you stop the car, there's no airflow. Things start catching on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not good for him. He's on the back foot now. He's now only, I think, 2 points ahead of Hamilton, and Hamilton's not having a great season either. Again, don't fact check. I mean, you can fact check me now.
I'm gonna fact check you.
Go ahead. He is only slightly ahead of Hamilton in the championship.
He's below Hamilton.
In the championship?
Drivers, yep. 3 points behind.
Now?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, all right, that makes sense.
Because Hamilton scored points.
Yeah, no. He only has, I mean, Max has a win.
He has a win.
But also 2 DNFs.
Yeah.
And there's only been 3 rounds. Surprise, though, Russell, and this is where consistency is key, and no one wants to believe, but consistency is key. Russell scored points in all 3 rounds so far.
Yep.
He's now second in the championship. He's still a little while way off Leclerc. I'm not saying... I mean,
he only has 1 podium.
Yeah, it's... Yeah.
Sainz has 2 podiums.
First...
Below him.
I think first legitimate podium. First full Grand Prix podium. Congratulations to Russell. He's deserved it. Yep. And hopefully more to come. Hopefully a win coming soon. I think maybe a red race. That'd be a win.
maybe a non-Ferrari race.
Yeah, maybe one where Sainz and Leclerc are fighting and he can just drive past them.
Yep.
And Red Bull retire.
Yeah.
Sergio Perez, was he
Fourth in the championship.
Fourth?
Yep.
Just behind Sainz.
Yeah, by 3
Sainz
points.
scoring no points this weekend. So,
Yep.
I think
Perez. Honestly,
I'm not going to speak for
soon.
speak for the whole season, but I think Perez is going to have a stronger first half of the season than Verstappen.
Yeah.
As far as finishing goes, I don't know. Who knows?
Because Verstappen always keeps having engine problems.
Well, yeah, so did Sergio, but Sergio's now one race
ahead
in advantage of Verstappen.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe in some way. I mean, we saw him get that pole last time out. We see him doing pretty good actually with the car. Maybe he has a car that suits him more than Max, and Max is just that good that he can sort of hide that he doesn't actually like driving the car. I don't know, but yeah, just difficult start for the world champion.
Yeah.
And it's not going to help anybody who doesn't consider him a world champion.
No.
There's people out there that don't think he's like, nah, Hamilton had that one. And I'm like, well, Max won more races.
Yeah.
and did all the things he needed to do, and he got enough points, so the crybabies.
But talking about McLaren, only one of them in the top 10 now. Lando and
Danny
8th.
Rick.
No, Danny's in 11th.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this race.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not talking about that. That's...
Yeah. Didn't think so.
No, but hey, congratulations to them. Solid haul of points. I was hoping for a podium for Danny Rick. Maybe next year. But
maybe next year.
Yeah, so I mean, both finished the race.
Yeah.
Last time out in Australia, Danny, I don't know what he did last time. There's people talking outside. Hopefully that doesn't ruin the audio.
Yeah.
What did you think of Danny Rick's home Grand Prix weekend? First time since Renault.
Oh boy. I think he did okay. He didn't do the best.
He stuck with Lando the whole time.
Yeah, no, he definitely kept up with him.
Mm-hmm.
But
and remember, Lando was fastest in FP3.
It's weird. I feel like he's almost mimicking what he did in Renault with McLaren. I feel like
but he was faster. He was faster than Hülkenberg and Ocon though. He's keeping up with Lando.
No, I'm saying like his like performance in Renault was kind of the same as McLaren at this moment.
Okay, fair. Yeah, McLaren's a bit behind the 8 ball. I was very happy to see them high up for this race.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Danny Rick's, home Grand Prix.
Right.
I wouldn't have honestly enjoyed it if they were down like they were in Bahrain. It would have been sad. But a solid haul of points for both drivers. Clean race. They got into some scraps, and they came out pretty well off in the end. So, congratulations to both of them. Congratulations to McLaren and all your McLaren fans out there.
You're one of the McLaren fans, Danny.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Damn, I should have bought a shirt because now they're gonna be up in price.
Probably they're fourth in the championship.
I've been meaning to buy a shirt or a hat or something, especially now that we have the podcast. But
you should buy an Aston Martin one.
Oh yeah, I could buy one of the and then in front of the green screen. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Or just wear one, so people want to see it.
I want a Haas one. I should have bought a Haas one.
Yeah, you still could. They're 7th in the championship.
Yeah.
It's not like you're.
If you don't know what we're talking
Ferrari.
about, the higher a team is, the more expensive their team gear tends to be.
Merch, yeah.
Red Bull, oh my gosh, like all their stuff, especially from like last year and stuff.
It's crazy.
But yeah, we need.
McLaren's coming back in the constructors. 4th in the constructors. They were like what, 9th or 10th?
They were dead last.
Yeah.
They were. I mean, it's pretty unpredictable though. The other night I watched the 2009 season, all of it, highlights obviously, not time for the whole season, and it's pretty interesting to see. It's pretty interesting to see that the Red Bull and the Ferrari and Braun and McLaren. It was, I mean, a fantastic season, and no one would have predicted Braun winning the championship.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
2009.
11
years? No, 12 years later.
12 years ago. Something
13?
like that. 13? I don't know.
Yeah, 13 years later.
13 years ago.
Jesus.
Jeez. Jensen Button. 13 years a world champion.
Yeah.
But regardless, that was a new time for F1. Not nearly as new of a time for this. So, right now, my opinion, Charles Leclerc is running away with this title. At the pace he's currently going, he's going to win it in, like, the U.S. Grand Prix or Mexico or something. He's gonna pull a Lewis Hamilton and just win it before the season's over. But you have to understand also that McLaren has done good. Mercedes looked better this time out than last time out.
Right.
At least with Hamilton. With George, George looks kind of the same. Did get a podium though.
Mm-hmm.
Red Bull this year are wild cards because right now they have reliability issues. Mm-hmm. Reliability issues I feel like they'll just go away. I mean, that's an easy thing.
And if they do, I mean,
that's an easy, like, oh, that's the problem? All right, fix it. And then all of a sudden, you're not the problem anymore. Verstappen was on for a decent haul points. A podium. A double podium, actually, for Red Bull. That was about to happen. So,
they had a no-point race. Then they had a good, point race.
A really good result race, yeah.
And then they had
a nearly double podium.
And then today was pretty good. Guess it was today.
It was today.
Yeah. And they're in third in the championship. So if their reliability issues do go away, I can see them winning the constructors.
Yeah.
I mean, if Ferrari doesn't, take it away from them.
I don't know. I think just Ferrari's just a little bit has the edge on there.
Yeah.
I feel like the drivers' championship though, it's still way too early to tell.
Right.
But the way I see it is, I don't see Red Bull powertrains and Mercedes powertrain cars fixing their issues before Ferraris have had the chance to just get as many points as possible. So I think that the Constructors' Championship is very much Ferraris. But no one remembers the Constructors' Championship.
Right.
And it's not necessarily a decent representation of the season. So, I guess it is. Like, if you win the championship, constructors-wise, that means both your drivers did well.
Right.
But everyone remembers the Drivers' Championship. If you ask me, give me a recent year, like before 98 or 96.
Before 96?
After 96.
After 96. 2003.
Michael Schumacher.
2008.
Lewis Hamilton.
2013.
Seb.
Okay, Alex Albon scoring a point today.
Yeah, what a strategy from Williams.
Yeah. Didn't pit till last lap.
57 laps on the same tire.
That's just insane. His tires must have been done.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what they looked like before you?
I didn't see it. No.
I wish I did. I just want to see those tires.
I think Ocon did that last year, but it was a wet race.
Yeah.
And he went the whole race. Because that was allowed. If it's a wet race, you can just keep the same tires. You don't need to change compounds. Because the whole point of pitting is to change compounds and use both compounds. But if it's raining, there's only one compound you can use.
Right.
So they don't really care. And Ocon was able to do a whole race last year on one set.
Yeah, but the thing is, on wet races, it's kind of... You don't use as much friction.
Yeah, of course.
So it doesn't rip the tire up. You can go, the whole race pretty easily without changing the tire, as long as you take care of them.
Is this the start? Now, this is not me being the DRS people being like, DRS is OP, we gotta ban DRS. But, do you think this is the start for something that we didn't have that... we had I mean, relatively, it was kind of not that long ago. But for us, I mean, we're new fans. It was a while ago. Do you think no pit stop races are a thing of the future?
Like, allowable?
Yeah. No, I'm saying, like, Albon definitely took care of those tires. There's no way.
It's going to be pretty hard
and he
for
did he did have to pit. He was in 7th, but he did have to pit on the last lap.
But he did that just to save the penalty.
And he was able to get out in 10th and get a point.
Right.
And so he was way out of position with that car.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a point. Yeah, but it's a point for Williams, who is doing better than last year, in my opinion, so far. At least Albon is.
Yeah.
Sorry, Latifi.
No.
But it's a point. You know, they weren't fighting for points at Jeddah. They weren't fighting for points at Bahrain. They have a point now. They're now ahead of Aston Martin, who has 4-time world champion
Sebastian
Vettel. I love Sebastian, but I miss him at Ferrari and Red Bull.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, a great race. Do you think pit stops are going to be something we're going to...
I don't think so.
And
I only say that because...
Pit stops used to be not a thing. I think they banned pit stop. I don't know how long they did it for.
But yeah, but it might have been shorter races.
I don't think so. I think it was... I'm not 100% sure. And here's the thing. We're not experts, so this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But I think at one point they banned refueling. Or they banned tire... No, now they don't have refueling. There's no refueling allowed. But at one point they banned tire changes, and you could only refuel. Because they had V10s or V8s or whatever it was.
Yeah. Crazy gas-eating cars.
Yeah, and you can only change tires if they were damaged, right? And I think there was only one type of tire anyway, so it didn't matter. And then I think at one point there was just straight up no pit stops, unless your car was damaged.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. If that was a thing, then it was a while ago, and they certainly did away with it quite quickly because I don't remember it being too like a big part of Formula One history necessarily.
Right. It might have been that way for something, but honestly, in the future, I don't think it's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Because like,
do you think refueling will come back? Here's my thing.
I don't think so because it's a hybrid. It's a hybrid car.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, that's kind of saves gas.
No, yeah, I know. Of course, that's why they haven't.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why they
have
no refueling. So
they could make the fuel. They could make the fuel tank smaller.
Yeah.
And that could, I mean, in the same way that they took away certain parts so the cars would have less downforce or different downforce. The same way they reinvented the car, they could do that with, they'd be like, all right, now you have a smaller gas tank.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, the teams could be just like, all right, we'll just make the car more efficient. Because it's probably way faster to just have a slightly slower car than to stop and refuel.
Yeah, I mean...
IndyCar still has
honestly,
refueling, and I think it's,
But if we're talking about no pit stop races,
mm-hmm.
I don't think it's going to happen.
No?
No.
Because, this is something I pulled out.
Again,
anyway.
like you said, Alex Albon took very good care of those tires.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I don't
it's gonna tame down racing a lot if that happens.
Yeah.
What about DRS? What do you stand about DRS? Because this race was supposed to have 4 DRS zones.
It turned to 3, right?
It turned to 3 because of safety.
Yeah.
They took away one of them because it just wasn't 100% safe.
Uh-huh.
So good on you, FIA. Good job. But is it OP? Is it?
I don't think it is.
No?
Because if it's... Honestly, I'm not sure.
No? I mean, because if you think about it...
it is very it's a very, tactical thing to use. I mean, you can get in front of it very easily. You can use it to your advantage very easily. But then again, it kind of puts, pressure and, that nail biting feeling, like what's gonna happen in this DRS zone.
I mean, we've seen a lot of times where a driver has DRS and they still don't make a move work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think DRS is okay for now. Because it's not like.
Do you find it okay?
Overpowered?
No, do you find it okay?
I find it okay.
I don't find it cheap. A lot of people find it like this weird, cheap way. You know what was a weird, cheap way to create passing? Push to pass.
Yeah.
That was so weird. And there was no, like, thing that... I mean, like, I think that might be, like, a light or something. But there was no way for the people watching to really know what was... Like, who had push to pass, who was using it. You know what I mean? And you still see it, I think, in IndyCar and Formula E with, like, the fan boost or whatever. Mm-hmm. DRS is an incredibly ingenious solution to just creating better racing. Mm-hmm. It's like, if you are close enough, we're going to give you this little... I mean, it's such a... In the grand scheme of things, such a small advantage, like... It was like 19 kilometers an hour.
Advantage,
and
some
tracks, not all of them.
Not all of them. In Australia it was, but that's not a lot of speed.
Right. So if the car in front of you is quicker and you're a second back, you'll get DRS, but...
Will you pass them?
Yeah. Like, I remember there was a battle with McLaren and Magnussen, with Lando and Magnussen. Mm-hmm. And Lando only got past Magnussen when he did because Magnussen kind of locked up going into the straight. Mm-hmm. And so he carried a lot less speed. So, well, yeah, it was like DRS, Lando blast past the Haas of Kevin Magnussen. Kevin just wasn't carrying as much speed as he usually did. If he was, it'd be pretty neck and neck. And if Magnussen just, got on the brake a little later than Lando and was able to make the corner work, he would have stayed ahead of the McLaren.
Yeah.
So, I just think it's an incredibly ingenious thing to have on the car. It's practical. It's not some weird cheap gimmick like push the button and you'll get a little bit more horsepower. Like, no, it's like straight up the wing changes. And all of a sudden you have like this slightly bigger advantage in a straight line, I personally don't think it's an issue. I could see them banning it next season. Just cause.
I hope not, but if they do ban it, it's not going to be a big thing. Like, obviously, there's people that hate it.
I don't think they should add crazy amount of DRS zones.
Right.
Like, I could definitely see in, like...
1 or 2.
3 is fine. 4 this weekend, I was like, okay. I thought it was interesting they had only 2 detection zones for 4. And so I was looking, I was like, if you get the pass done in 1... and then you get the corner, and then you go on the straight again, you still have that DRS. And now you're in front of the guy.
Right.
He doesn't. So that's a little bit OP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then you're going to pull away even more. And the guy behind you is going to have to really, really work. I mean, it is an interesting thing because now the guy has to work, and then you get to the next detection zone. He's within a second. He's going to go and make the pass, and it's just going to go back and forth.
Right.
But not everyone's Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, like they're not. It's not gonna go like that. A lot of times you'll have, a Nicholas Latifi. No, all right. Let's be fair. A lot of times you'll have just a normal driver like Lando Norris who's quick, but if a driver like Max Verstappen passes him,
right,
with DRS, and then he gets double DRS, Lando's great, but the McLaren's decent in this race at least, but it's just not going to go the way it doesn't work like it works on paper, I guess. Not all the drivers are the same, and certainly not all the cars are the same. A lot of times you'll have the same team, and both their cars are completely different. So
right,
they're supposed to be identical. So that was a big talking point this weekend was DRS, not pit stops. Pit stops was just me making shit up, but. Yeah, I mean, what about the tires? Because the tires are new for 2022. Alex Albon, of course, doing heavy-duty stint on his hards. Pirelli decided to bring a step above. So they usually go in sequential order. This week they brought the C2, C3, and not the C4, but the C5 as a soft.
Mm-hmm.
And that was great in qualifying. It was a great qualifying tire.
Mm-hmm.
But no one used it in the race. No one dared use it in the race because
it's so soft.
It was going to last 3 corners.
Yeah.
So it's a figure of speech. Of course, it would last a lot longer. But so do you think that was a good choice from Pirelli?
I don't know.
The qualifying times are so much, I mean, relatively speaking, faster than the race times.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I remember, like,
honestly, if you do start on a soft tire in qualifying, you're probably going to get a faster time than if you were using harder mediums. That's just kind of standard.
Right.
Just because it's a softer
But
compound
it eliminates that option, though. Like, my thing is, like,
C4,
my thing is, like, I would have loved to see, like, last couple laps,
so people switching
someone
to the C5.
pit and, like, oh, crap, they're on the softs. Okay. And maybe that would have been the case, but what if there was a safety car, like, right at the end? What if, like, there was a safety car, Perez pits for softs, Leclerc stays out? What then? You have 5 laps to go. Does Perez catch Leclerc on the soft? Like, because now he has softs on, it's such a big jump, like, performance-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Perez may have caught him, especially with a safety car. Everyone's bunched
I mean, he was on hards, right?
He was on hards. I think he was on softs at some point, or maybe he started on. No, sorry, mediums. He was on mediums at the start,
Leclerc.
I believe. Leclerc was on.
Like I'm saying, if Perez switched to soft right
at the end, everyone is on hards.
Yeah, so he would have. Leclerc would have been on hards, and he would have been on the C5 compound softs. So,
I mean, he definitely would have gotten the fastest
Yeah.
lap taken away from him.
100%.
He almost did, actually, by Fernando Alonso, from what I hear. Leclerc was a bit, like, he kept going on the radio, like, should I go for fastest lap? And he kept having, as he had the fastest lap. And they're like, don't worry about it. I don't think anyone's going to do any faster. Right at the end, I think Fernando Alonso put in a fastest lap in, like, 17th place, so he wouldn't have gotten a point. But it would have taken a point away from Leclerc. Doesn't matter. He still has a crazy lead anyway. But that's the Australian Grand Prix.
Yeah.
It was super early for us.
Probably not as early for you guys. Maybe it was.
Probably. I mean, I feel like we have a large American audience.
Americanized audience.
We got nominated for best podcast in America. I don't know. I'm just saying. No, but yeah, super early race. I think for everybody that's not in like Asia and what's that called? What's Australia? Oceania.
I think Australia's just called Australia.
Yeah, but it's a region that Malaysia and New Zealand and all that.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
Oceania.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
This is my American education system working.
Yeah.
But yeah, really glad to be back in Australia. It was a lot of fun.
Great race.
Yeah, there's a lot. I don't know. I think because it was so early, like a lot of it was dumb. I'm gonna think about stuff later on. And be like, oh, we should have talked about that on the podcast. That was so interesting.
Mm-hmm. That kind of always happens though.
Yeah, Kevin Magnussen getting out qualified Mick Schumacher this week.
Mm-hmm.
And Haas not doing that great. Of course they didn't do that great. It was Gunther Steiner's birthday. That would have been too perfect. But keep fighting, Haas. You've shown that you can do it. You've shown you can get points. So keep going. Glad to see Mick back in the car after Saudi. Glad to see Sebastian back in the car. Shame that he
kind of crashed it. But
a bunch of times.
We'll see him next weekend? Is there a race next weekend or no?
No. So next weekend there's not going to be a podcast. A, because there's no race, and B, because it is Easter.
Oh.
And we have Easter things to do.
Yeah.
So no podcast next week. I know. Gutted.
Yeah.
You're like, what am I going to listen to?
Yeah.
And the week after though is the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix in Imola, Italy. And that's going to be very interesting to watch, given the pace that Ferrari has. Hopefully, Carlos Sainz will be back. I think he will be. I think he'll
come back.
He's a great driver. I just think he had a bad weekend in Australia. because otherwise he's been pretty decent. He's settling into that role as second driver. Are you accepting that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc. I mean, look at the points. You got to see the points.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see the actual
the consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's gotten all 3 podiums.
Yeah, and he almost got a win in Saudi. Like people forget, like he almost got a win in Saudi.
Yeah.
You know, Max got it.
Yeah.
But then again, Max is now in 5th in the championship.
7th.
What was it? 5th.
6th.
6th. So doesn't even matter. He got second. He was a runner-up in a race where the winner. That's all the points he got this season so far.
Was literally the win.
Yeah. So watch out for George Russell.
Yeah. Second place in the drivers.
I'm just saying it's really early in the season. I think that Russell's very consistent so far with his qualifying and his race pace, sort of silently mounting a title bid. Silently. Or at least in my head, he's silently. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't be mad if he was starting. If now Verstappen sort of wasn't the main character and now it's Leclerc and Russell. That'd be a very interesting thing to see. Mm-hmm. But he's silently just being very consistent and having reliability and just slowly getting points, and no one's noticing. No one's noticing it. It's insane. He's finally got to Mercedes, and no one's like, oh wow, Russell did really well. He's gotten points.
Yeah,
dude's second in the championship now.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, it was like the biggest deal when he got like 2 points. No one's talking about this.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, I guess we'll end it off there.
I look forward to Imola.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we'll be able to watch live because that is going to be slammed by the harbor in Jersey City.
Yeah.
Our friends at Rick's Magazine are having a car event in Jersey City on the 24th of April. I'm sure all of you will be watching the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. But if you guys like cars
and are in the tri-state area,
you can get to Jersey City rather efficiently.
Ricksmag.com.
Ricksmag.com to go to Ricksmag.
Yeah.
And you'll find all the information there. But that's where we'll be for the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. As far as a podcast goes, there is going to be a sprint race that weekend, so we could always do it on Saturday and cover the qualifying. That might be boring to watch.
It could be a short podcast, like kind of a.
I'm free the next day. I'm free on Monday if you want to come over. We can do a podcast a day late.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see about MLA because we have that pre-arranged thing with Slam by the Harbor.
Yeah.
Which you should go to. But we will see you next time, whenever that is.
Yeah. Big
thank you to our channel artist, Connor Mayland. He does awesome things like our logo and cool things like this. This Holly and Mingo Detective Agency pillow. You don't know who they are. I do. They're my best friends. So shout out to him for doing our channel art. He does all of the cool graphic design stuff for us, our thumbnail, our everything. So thank you to him. I've been meaning to thank him these past few episodes, and I keep forgetting. So thank you, Connor, for your awesome work. Thank you to Rick's Magazine for sponsoring the show. Hope to see you guys at Slam by the Harbor.
Yep.
What else? Anything else to add?
Overtake Media on Instagram.
Yes, follow Overtake Media on Instagram. This show is brought to you by Overtake Media, and it is broadcast on Overtake Media on YouTube. So if you're listening on Spotify, there's a YouTube version of this where you can go see our beautiful faces. And if you're watching our beautiful faces and you rather not, there's a Spotify version. Yeah. You can just listen to us. So that's that. Mm-hmm. We're going to do this new thing. And it's kind of cheesy. But this is a good way to end the episode.
Okay.
Driver of the day.
Okay.
Struggle of the day. Most improved. And were they even in the race?
Okay. I got this.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, let me look at the roster. Because I need to be like, okay, this, and this.
So I'm going to say driver of the day is Charles Leclerc. I think Max was good. I think Checo was great. Checo! Ricardo scoring decent points in his home Grand Prix, as well as Lando. But Leclerc was the alpha. So I'm going to say driver of the day was Leclerc. And then you go ahead. What's your driver of the day?
My driver of the day is Checo. 100% Checo.
Yeah, it's a toss-up between Checo and Charles. Look, Checo's, I think, come a long way since last season.
Mm-hmm.
He's always sort of been there when Max, I mean, if you look at Baku, he got the win when Max was DNF'd.
Yeah.
But there was times last season where if Max DNF'd, Checo was nowhere. He was nowhere to pick up points. He was nowhere to pick up a podium or a win.
Mm-hmm.
So, Checo was a good, it's either Leclerc or Checo. I don't actually, here's the thing, F1 does this. They actually have a vote. I don't actually know who won driver of the day.
I don't know.
But that's my driver of the day is Leclerc or Checo.
Mine's Checo.
Struggle of the week. Struggle of the weekend.
I'm going to say Sebastian Vettel.
Yes. Yeah, I 100% agree.
Yep.
I think it's either Sebastian Vettel or Latifi.
Or Verstappen.
But Latifi's not a 4-time world champion.
Yeah.
He has never raced for Ferrari. He's never mounted a title challenge at Ferrari against world champion Lewis Hamilton.
Mm-hmm.
He's never... I love Sebastian. Sebastian's one of my favorite drivers. But yeah, he was the struggle of the weekend.
Mm.
I agree with you.
What was the third one?
Most improved. Team.
Team. Williams.
I think McLaren.
Oh, that's a good one too.
McLaren. I mean, Saudi wasn't that bad for them, apart from the reliability issues with Ricardo.
Mm-hmm.
They did get some points in Saudi. But yeah, I mean they started off really decent in the race, and they didn't really fall back too much. So yeah, I would say McLaren, based off of their three races so far, this is, I think, their best race. Trying to think if anyone else is better in terms of like improvement. Williams, probably close.
I mean, Haas has been good.
No, Haas had a terrible weekend.
Yeah, they had a bad weekend this weekend.
I mean, they had a pretty good weekend for 2021 Haas, but 2022 Haas with what they've shown, bad weekend.
And then what's the last one? Were they even?
In the race?
I'm gonna say.
I think I know what you're gonna say.
Who do you think I'm gonna say?
I think I know.
Who?
Do you want to say it at the same time?
Yeah.
All right. Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Aston Martin.
Bottas.
Oh, as a team.
Oh, you're talking about team.
Team Valtteri Bottas.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't seen him much.
Yeah, I think that's just a broadcast though.
Yeah.
I saw Alfa Romeo all the time.
Wait, did you say McLaren?
I said Aston Martin.
Oh.
Why would I say McLaren? No, I mean like Aston Martin.
So are we doing drivers or
teams?
I
Sorry,
think
no.
I think we should do drivers.
Okay, so most improved driver.
Most improved driver?
Yeah.
I guess Lando.
Yeah. Fair, I guess.
And then most improved team?
Not George though, or Hamilton.
I mean, from last race, yeah.
From last race. Let's go based off last race. I think.
Then probably Lewis.
Probably Hamilton, yeah. Were they even in the race? I would say Carlos.
I mean, he practically wasn't.
He wasn't. I mean, it was very close to a did not start.
I'm gonna say Valtteri because I didn't really see much of him, but
he was in there. He was
I
throwing elbows.
I did, but I didn't. I don't know.
Mm.
I don't remember much of seeing him.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
But
anyway, I think we should end it there.
Yeah, we should.
All right. Thank you for watching.
How many stars? How many stars would you give the Australian Grand Prix? Would you watch again at 1 a.m?
No. I'll give it like a good solid 4 stars.
You don't have to do it again for a year, so it's fine. 4 stars out of 5?
4 stars.
Out of 5?
Out of 5.
Okay. I'll give it 4 stars out of 5.
Yeah.
I think it'd been a 5-star if it was the season opener F1.
Yeah.
Like it should be.
Absolutely should be.
Yeah. Anyway, That's gonna be it for our show this week. We will see you. Yeah, thank you so much for watching or listening wherever you are. Please subscribe to the YouTube. We have some cool stuff that's about to go up. Some films that we've been working on for quite some time. And this podcast that we've started to make. So make sure you don't miss anything because we like to post these and not tell anybody. Okay, we gotta get better at that. So definitely do that.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see you next time, whenever that is.
Yeah.
Definitely not next week. Potentially the week after.
But we'll see.
After Slam by the Harbor, we might come over here and just chow down over some F1 with you guys. Yeah. And be very tired doing so.
And while eating some food. We'll have like a...
Oh, yeah, that's going to be
like a mukbang.
That's going to be a great audio experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to listen to these two guys eat a bacon, egg, and cheese while talking about Formula One.
Talking about how bad Nicholas Latifi is.
All right, good luck to the Scuderia Ferrari in Italy next week or 2 weeks from now in a fortnight's time, as they would say.
But yeah, thank you for watching.
Thank you. Yeah, let's just wrap it up.
And yeah.
All right.
See you later, guys.
All right. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you later. Not that last word or anything, but
yeah.
All right, bye.
See you later.
Wave to the camera. We're waving.
That should be good.
We're waving to the camera, guys. We're
Be good.
We're giving an Irish goodbye.